Figuring Out the Ordinary. I'm so glad I could have you on my YouTube channel. Can you please just introduce yourself and give a brief background about yourself?
Hi, my name is Chantal Potgieter. I am a qualified associate general accountant and tax practitioner, and I am an audit consultant for SAPRO, working as a senior associate for a mid-tier audit firm in the USA.
All right. So you actually got quite an interesting journey about how you got your qualification. So I actually would like to focus a bit on that. Okay, so can you just start off, why did you get into accounting and where did you start off your accounting degree?
Okay, so I decided to study accounting because I was good at it in high school. Like, literally the only reason is because I was good at it in high school. So in grade 11, I had to choose something to do. My mom said, "You're not going to sit on my couch, you're going to study." So I was like, okay. And I was like, well, let me become an accountant. And so I applied at the University of Pretoria for admission. That's the only university I applied to because my mom didn't give me any other choices. And I started studying accounting at the University of Pretoria in 2013.
Okay. And did you continue studying at the University of Pretoria? Did you finish your degree at the University of Pretoria?
Actually, I didn't. In my third year, my studies took a little bit of a back bender. Like, I didn't concentrate on it as much as I should have because I got involved in one of the social clubs at the University of Pretoria, and I failed two of my subjects. I failed accounting and financial management. So I had a decision. My mom said, okay, listen, you can go back and complete it at the University of Pretoria, but you're going to pay for it yourself because she only pays for it the first time. And then she said, oh, you can go and work and you can finish your degree at UNISA. So I was just like, well, don't know how I'm going to pay for the University of Pretoria if I can't work. So I actually transferred to UNISA and completed my degree through UNISA.
Okay. And when that happened at that time and moment, like how did you initially react about yourself? Because I think we all, when there's like a bit of a heap in our journey, we definitely do feel like it's the end of the world or other people have it easier. So what was your first thought that initially came to, and how did you say, okay, I'm going to do this and still get the degree? Because it's always easy to quit.
Well, what I did was I kind of expected it that I wasn't going to make it. I think here by your third term, you know whether you're going to finish the year with a victory or not. So by November, I had actually started applying for training contracts, various training contracts, um, and I was prepared for it. When I did fail, I kind of just went like, okay, it's not the end of the road. I'll just finish it through UNISA, but let me just start getting some experience in the field that I am working towards. So yeah, I just said, you know what, this won't be the end of the road for me. I have a goal. It is to finish this, and let's just keep going.
Right. And when you were trying to find that work experience to also pay off your degree through UNISA, was it easy to find something, or was it still a bit of a challenge? And how did you go about looking? Because I think also job search can be difficult for quite a lot of people.
It actually was. I was stressing a lot. I started applying in November of 2015. And I didn't actually secure a training contract until April of 2016. So it took me about 6 months to find a position at the end of the day. During that time, I was fortunate enough to get part time work at Momentum as an admin clerk. Um, sorry, my cat wants to join us.
No problem.
Yeah, during that time, I was working as an admin clerk. But at that time, I had also forgotten to apply to UNISA for admission. So I had to wait until the second semester admissions were being processed. before I could apply. So at least during that time, I didn't have to pay for my studies, which was a good thing. But looking for a training contract was extremely stressful, especially because it felt like I wasn't getting interviews. In that 6 months that I was applying, I only got 2 interviews. And after the first interview, I left and I called my grandmother and she goes, "How was it? Are you getting the job?" And I was like, "Grand, no, I'm not getting this job." And she was like, "Don't worry, the next one you'll get." And I actually did.
Yeah, I think it definitely can be a bit challenging to continue momentum. So, what can you walk us through your job strategy that you, if you did have one, about the applying process? Did you look at normal like job portals, or did you ask people? And how did you like kind of like keep that motivation to keep on applying when you weren't getting through?
Well, my motivation was, Chantal, you need a job. So that was actually like my only motivation keeping me going at the time. In terms of my strategy, I didn't know anybody within the accounting field. My family comes from an insurance background, so they didn't even have contacts to help me out with. So I literally just applied on Indeed, Careers 24, PNet, and like random searches like psych training articles or psych training contracts. And if something would pop up, I would just apply. I applied to everything I could find relating to psych training contracts that I wanted to do.
Okay. I think that will definitely be a good ideal perspective for whoever's watching and also in a similar position. And from there, once you got the contract and you got into UNISA, what was the journey then from there onwards?
So I was accepted at UNISA in mid for the second semester, but they hadn't processed any of my exemptions with my application. And I just said there was no way that I was going to start as a first year with my journey again. So I applied for my exemptions, and then a few of my credits actually I didn't get them. And I just wrote a motivation and I said, "Listen, here is all the information. There's no reason that I shouldn't be getting these credits." And I was just fighting with UNISA until I did get my credits at the end of the day. So that took about 6 months, pushing completing my degree to 2017 instead of 2016 because I spent that 6 months fighting with them. At the end of the day, I was then allowed to, just complete my third year to get my degree, which was the ideal situation. And then I must say, I think I underestimated the amount of time and discipline it would take studying part time in your third year for accounting and working full time at the same time while trying to kind of balance having a family and having your friends and trying to get to everything. Um, but I made it at the end of the day, and that's all that matters.
Okay. And then once you finished your third year, what was the next chapter? Because I think for CA, I mean for accounting, right, that you need to still do honors or get articles. So what was the next step for you then?
So the next step was to CTA, which is your postgraduate diploma in accounting, applied accounting if you're doing it through UNISA. I enrolled for that in 2019, and I did fairly well during the entire year. And at the end of the year, I had quite a few personal instances which had a very big impact on my life. I lost my grandmother and my grandfather during the examination period, and it kind of just derailed my whole examination. Um, so I had to redo it in 2020, where I passed 4 of the 5 subjects. And at the moment, I'm still in dispute with UNISA regarding the one subject which they are saying I did not pass.
All right. And you said that you're working for a company in the US at the moment, right? So how did you find that job? Was it again through PNAC, Careers 24?
Actually, no. So I finished my articles, and then at the firm where I was doing my articles, they appointed me as audit supervisor and audit manager later. In the examination for honors last year, the one question read, um, the audit manager has recently returned from an international secondment. And I was like, yeah, I always wanted to do secondments. That's like one of the main reasons that I went into accounting was being able to have international opportunities because I love to travel. And after that exam, I just sat down and I just Googled audit secondments, audit opportunities internationally, and this website pops up, SAPRO. And I see the requirement is that you need to be a CASA, and true to my spirit, I just went, you know what, if I don't apply, I won't know, if I'd even be considered. So I applied on their website, and within half an hour, I got an email back to say, hi, they are interested in me. Can we please schedule an introduction meeting? And I was like, yes. I was very excited, but also like trying not to get too excited because I knew that I actually didn't completely meet the requirements for the position that I had just randomly applied for on this website. And I was also skeptical because I was like, I've never heard of this place before. I can't find anything else on the internet about it. Like, am I volunteering myself for human trafficking at the moment? That is what was going through my mind at that stage. And I did the first interview and I did the second interview, and they offered me a position to do a secondment for this US firm. And I was so excited. I started the secondment in January, and I'm still on the secondment. It hasn't ended yet, and hopefully it will continue as long as possible. I'm really enjoying it.
I think that's great. I think it's your story is to show that there is still a way to fulfill your goals or to still do what you need to do. Just it doesn't mean just because you failed at University of Victoria that it's the end of the world. So I mean I think as my next question would be like everyone does things differently and mindset is important.
Yes.
So it doesn't seem, would you agree that you have, like a lot of people do have the mindset like, oh my God, it's the end of the world, what do I do? There's a lot of family pressure. So what is your mindset?
So I was very fortunate to have a very strong mother. And she just always said that she believes in me. I can do anything, and she believes that I can do anything. And I kind of grew up with that mindset of I can do anything and I can be anything I want. So when I do fail, and I mean, failure is part of life. I just always say, okay, I've failed at this, or, this is just a new stepping stone or learning opportunity for whatever I am going to do next. It doesn't have to be the end of the world. What other opportunities are out there? What can I do to kind of remedy the situation that I find myself in to make it work for my benefit? I see failure as just a learning opportunity. Okay, I didn't make it through the University of Pretoria, but then I learned, hey, I'm not that good of a student when I'm required to go to class. But if I need to sit down at home, I have the discipline to self-study. I need to work through the material and make sure that I understand it because there's nobody going to be there to explain it to me. And through failure, I learned who I am, where are my strong suits and how to use that to my benefit to just, uplift myself out of any situation that I find myself in.
I think that's a good mentality to have. I think like in general that we have that mentality. Oh, if you're not at the like top university, then you're not the best. Or if something happens, then it's kind of like the end of the world. It depends again on your bringing up and how you perceive life. But I think that's in general. And I think also we made to feel like you can't fail. If you fail, then you're not good enough. And I think that's how we all have been taught in society, and we feel like failure is not a good thing. Because I think honestly, there's no such thing as failure. I was actually reading this book on the growth mindset, and they're saying failure. Someone was saying in that book that it's actually to show you to show you what strategies that you need to put in place.
Yeah.
So if one thing doesn't work, it means it's not that you're not good enough, it just means you need to try a different strategy. So I think that's a misconception or majority of how the world sees failure is. And I think it's important for more people to speak about the ups and the downs and how they got up again, to just instead of only speaking about the up.
Yes. No, definitely no journey only has ups. Every journey has its downs as well. It's just, picking yourself up when you are in a downward stride and just saying, no, I'm not going to settle for where I am at the moment. I'm going to fight to become who I want to be at the end of the day. And I always say, we've got so many resources available to us. If I'm not able to lift myself out of that position, hopefully I can find someone to turn to say, listen, I'm sucking at accounting at the moment. Do you know someone that can help me, or can you help me? And I found that if you reach out to the people around you, together we can always make a plan to improve the situation that we are in. Where a lot of times I think we're so scared of telling people, listen, I failed at this, that we try and resolve it ourselves when we could actually use the people around us to our benefit to help and recover from whatever we had failed at.
I definitely agree. And I think it's also our wording that I don't think we realize the way we speak to ourselves and the way we speak about certain concepts. Because if you say to someone, you're smart because you got an answer within 2 seconds, or because you got a distinction, you're really saying when they get a B, or because they didn't get to the answer quick, that they're not smart. So really you indirectly telling people that they are a failure. And I think all of those subtleties add to why people feel like they're not good enough or they're afraid to ask for help.
Yes, definitely.
So I can definitely pick up from your mentality that it's like if something falls, like you were saying, that you kind of have like, okay, let's see what we can do to fix it. But is there a time where you have moments where you like it's over and then you pick yourself up, or and is there anything else that you do to any additional tools that you use to get up?
So I've got my personal cheerleaders. Um, I use the supports of my friends and family around me. Whenever I do feel like, listen, I'm in a space where I just feel like I can't get up, I turn towards my best friend and my sister, and I used to turn towards my mom, and just be like, listen, guys, I'm just having one of those days. And you, I always say, find your personal cheerleader. It's those people that are there that when you feel down, they're going to come with this story to just tell you, no, you need to get up, get yourself out of bed, put on your clothes, go to work. It's not the end of the day. It's not the end of the world. Um, and I'm lucky to actually have had three. I now have two. That my best friend Madeleine, I can just let her know, like, this is not a good day, and I will get a 10-minute voice note telling me, what a fantastic person I am, and I can keep going, and she's there for me. And the same thing with my sister. My sister can sometimes be a little bit harsher, just be like, no man, just stop it, you're better than this, just get up and do it. And I think that, if you find your personal cheerleader, that one person that's always there to uplift you and, keep you going when you feel like you can't anymore, then there's nothing that can hold you back. And I think sometimes people feel like, oh, I don't have a personal cheerleader. But if you go and you sit down and you actually think, who's that one person that's always there to support me? They don't have to be blood family. They can be a best friend, they can be a colleague, a supervisor, a manager, whoever, that's always there to believe in you and uplift you in whatever situation that you're finding yourself. So I use their support a lot to get myself out of those kinds of situations.
All right. And I know you have a side hustle, so can you please just speak a little bit about your side hustle and how you got into it?
Okay, so my side hustle, I've got a few, but the one that I'm most passionate about is my mentorship program that I have. So basically, how it happened was on Valentine's Day in 2020, I got inspired to write an essay of a Facebook post on a group called CA Inspired, just giving tips on how to amend your CV, make it look better, be more attractive to companies that you want to be employed as a trainee. And then the next moment, I get a Facebook message to say, "Hey, I'm this guy from this place. I saw your Facebook post. I really loved it. Would you like to start writing articles for us towards psych trainees? That would be your target audience." And I was like, this is a hoax. Who is this? Like, why are you pranking me right now? And the guy turned out to be legit. And I started writing articles for Accountancy SA, targeting psychiatry trainees, different topics, like what would they see when they're busy with their training, what to do afterwards, and those kinds of things. And in March this year, exactly a year after the first person contacted me, I got contacted by Letu at the Durban branch from Psycha, and he says, "Listen, I want to work with you. Let's get a program going. Let's reach out to trainees. Let's see what we can do." So we started a series, the Trainee Personal Management Series, which is a free webcast series for psych trainees. And we are actually this week on the 26th having our third installment, where we will be speaking on how to balance life and studies and work and all of those nice things. We've had two other sessions as well. And yeah, it's amazing how something as simple as a Facebook post has kind of just snowballed into something that I'm extremely passionate about. And I can go on forever about it if you allow me. But yeah, like I'm really passionate about it, and I've had contact and interactions with so many trainees over this last year that I just know this is the right side hustle journey for me to be on and to keep growing, because I'm making a difference, and there are people out there that really do need someone to help them or just to guide them when you kind of feel like you're in the dark a little.
Most definitely. It sounds like a really interesting program that you're doing, and like what I'm picking up from your journey is just like in summary, like you just Googled, you just trying, you just typing, and somehow things just fall into place.
It almost feels like it's like all my successes have been incidental. But my family have this belief that things will happen as they should happen and when they should happen. And that's just kind of how I go through life. Is if something is supposed to happen, it's going to happen. If it's not supposed to happen, life is going to make it hard for me to make it happen. So then rather just let it go. So yeah, no, I've been very blessed in that way.
Definitely, I do think like there is timing for things to happen. There's also sometimes we do feel like no, by a certain age this needs to be done. We need to do this. It's definitely when you are comparing yourself. Because I think especially with social media these days, you compare yourself even more. So you definitely feel that pressure. And I was listening to this one podcast where this lady was saying that no, like she always felt the pressure, like she has to always be doing something, and then she kind of got sick and had to learn that you need to like take time to rest, and you also need to realize that even if you're resting, what is meant for you will come, and what's not meant for you won't come. So I think that's the thing. We just feel like if we're not doing something, then we're getting behind. So I think that's definitely pertains to what you were saying, that what is meant for you will come.
Yes, definitely.
And then one thing, what advice would you give whoever's watching about how to balance studying and working and family? Like, what's the one tool you would give them right now?
So the key to that is time management. It is literally time management and open communication with everyone in your life. Um, Plan your day. Plan how are you going to balance your work and your family and your studies. But also be open with them. Like tell them, guys, it's going to take me this long to finish whatever I am studying. I can't do it without your support. So I need to study at night from 5 to 8. Please don't bother me. Please don't WhatsApp me or call me during that time. We can speak before or after that. Um, and just tell them, like, my success is going to be your success, and I need your support during this time. I always say, like, we always feel like we need to make going to study an excuse. Like, oh guys, I can't like socialize with you right now. I need to go and study. It's not an excuse. It is actually, you are furthering yourself. You are paving the way to a better future. You don't use it as an excuse. I once you've got that open channel of communication, like, your support is going to help me do this, and in return, this is going to create a better future for all of us. When your 8 hours of the day and just being like, okay, am I a morning person or a night person? When is going to be the most effective for me to study at the end of the day? And your recipe to success. Like, don't push yourself to study at night. If you can study better in the mornings, then study in the mornings. And just communication, communication, communication. Just make everyone understand, create a better future for all of us.
Thank you. I think definitely time management is something that is so simple but yet so effective, and I think people like sometimes who's like like they think it's like so easy, like it's like not like I'm losing my words now, but it just feels like you keep on hearing time management, or they think it's so easy so they don't do it, but definitely it is something effective, especially when you do have to balance. I think it does come with planning, because I think definitely in high school you can just like get away with not timing yourself compared to varsity. Right, and do you have any last words before we end the interview?
Thank you for inviting me for the interview. It was a lot of fun. My last words would be, get your cheerleader. Find your cheerleaders, and just build them as a support structure around you, and you will find that you can do anything.
Thank you so much for coming on. Welcome. I'm figuring out what